Just go by the colors.
Okay. Oh.
All right, and we're live. We're going to wait a few minutes for everyone to come in. But hello and welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and start sharing everything. And actually,
I can share it too, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, I'll do that. Let me see.
There we go. All right. Go
What's
ahead.
the easiest way to do it? Just
Go share it from the page.
okay. I got it.
Hello. Welcome. We're going to wait a few more minutes and let the room fill up. It just hit 8 o'clock. How are you doing today? Jamie, I appreciate you because you are always prompt. That's my dog. Thanks, girl. Hey, girl. See, that's why I have to have my computer because I can't see. It's so tiny and I have little...
Oh yeah, you
terrible.
can see that.
I know.
Ugh. Okay.
So if you're on and you want to go ahead and share, it is appreciated. We're going to give it like one more minute and go ahead and get everything started today. All right. There it is. Where do I'll just do this.
Okay.
Share. Okay. All right. Oh, it won't let me. I'll do it later then. All right.
Okay.
Oh,
But I'll let you see the comments.
it will let me see the comments, but that's what I thought I just did. I'm so sorry. I'm having technical difficulties. And usually... There it is. All right. Thank you, guys. Hello. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says hi, Jade.
Hey.
All right. Well, thank you so much and bearing with me in the technical difficulties. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the conversation. As you can see, I have the lovely Jade Stanley here from JR Events and Staffing.
So yeah, I have all about you staffing.
Yeah, so today we're going to get to know Jade a little bit, but she has a really good story, and I knew from a long time, I was like, you're going to be leaving the car. I remember that conversation outside the car, and I was like, you're not going to be at Merrill much longer. You're going to be doing this on your own. She has a really good story of getting out of corporate America and becoming an entrepreneur, and then even becoming a double entrepreneur, triple at that. So I want to first off let her introduce herself. Just give them a little bit of who you are, what you do, and I'll make sure to share all of her information below as well. So
Okay. Well, thank you. Do I look at you or do I look at
look at that.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. So JR Events is my wedding planning business, and we just started venturing into venue management services for nonprofits in Jacksonville that own venues. So that's really exciting. All About You Staffing, we provide bartenders, hospitality staff, all of that fun stuff. The things that people don't want to have to deal with as far as like cleanup and everything during the event. But we specialize in interacting with people's guests. So those are our number one and number two services. And then I have some other endeavors that Erica inspired in me, which is to start business mentoring, where I'm able to build strategic plans for other businesses and help them automate their processes.
Yes. All right, so we're going to get into all of that. So give us a little bit about your background, like how you started, where you started from, and then we'll get into a little bit of that crawl out there. But like, give us a little bit of that background.
Okay.
We'll start in event planning.
Okay, so I first started event planning in 2008. And so I didn't even know I liked it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't know I liked it. I was like, oh, this is cool. I need something to do. I just moved to Jacksonville. And I was like, I just need some, friends. And I don't know people. So I'm going to go volunteer. So I went to the American Cancer Society. And I started volunteering for the breast cancer campaign, the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. Then next thing I know, someone quit on the kickoff. And they were like, hey, we don't have anybody planning it. So I was like, I'll step up. And I used to work at that time. I started Bank of America in 2007. So I was like, all right, I'll do this. And then next thing I know, every year they just kept increasing my role. And also the fundraising. We enjoyed fundraising. I mean, I would do anything with people from like washing cars and then to actually serving drinks, like cocktail drinks, which is funny that we have bartender services now. But serving drinks for charity. So we would serve like pink lemonade. We have a pink lemonade stand at like a happy hour, and people would come and get like $5 drinks, and we would get all the liquor donated. I mean, just random, items that we were doing for that part. And then I started working with United Way, the Atlantic Circle, the Young Professionals group. So that was here again. I was like a massive networker. I can't remember. I think I met Erica at a networking event, a couple of them. I mean, that mixed with some clubbing. Yeah. So,
It was a little bit of all that.
Back when it was Terra Nova days. So, anyway, those are the good old days. Anyway, so we were hanging out, having a good time, networking, and then I was like always trying to include people in like, parties that I was hosting and doing things for fundraisers. And people started saying, like, some of my girlfriends, like, oh, I'm getting married. I'm like, okay, well, I'll help you with your wedding. And then next thing I know, people are like, well, you're actually pretty good at this. Now, I'm a little different. I'm not a decorator. People think wedding planner and they think decorator. No, they're not the same.
Which when you explained it to me when we were talking, in my head, I assumed too the same thing. I thought wedding planners, oh, this is going to be the person who's going to come and decorate and do all that stuff too. Mm-hmm. So
the wedding planner is more of like the coordinator of your timeline, the process of making sure you're booking the right vendors, your management of, budget, things like that. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I can do everything myself. I just need someone to help with the day of. And then, okay, you got me the day of. And guess what? You're like not saving any money. Okay. Because if you have a wedding planner, she should have a good network behind her. And of course, I've built a network. So there are brides who come and they network with me and they hire me, and my fee seems like nothing compared to the $4,000 and $5,000 they save with me. Like,
that's awesome.
It's a lot different in wedding planning. So when I left Bank of America, I went over to the Merrill Lynch side, and I was working in processing. Mm-hmm. So I was doing like automated process. I used to save Merrill Lynch like over $1 million to $2 million. Okay, in risk management, brokerage accounts. I would constantly streamline all their processes and doing things that would kind of like help this business, this Fortune 500 company. Mm-hmm. And I was constantly frustrated because I was never getting a promotion. So anyway, I'm just saying.
Right.
So it just brings me back a little bit. But anyway, I was
flashback.
So I'm thankful I had someone who was
Sorry. Okay.
So I had a manager who like invested time in me. And now when I was doing all the fundraising and things, I didn't always have tact. So I didn't really know that. So I'm originally from New York. And I didn't really necessarily have tact. And I'm in the South. And I'm not talking to the Southerners like I'm in the South. I'm talking to them like I'm in New York. I'm like very blunt, very raw, don't give a crap about anything. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much where he came in. And he's also from Brooklyn. And he was just like inspired. He's like, there's just a way to go about things and things like, he's like, I see the potential in you. And I'm like, man, fool, please, whatever. So then the next thing I know, he starts developing me in Merrill Lynch, and I start getting promotions and things like that. But then I started taking some of those management skills that he was teaching me, and I was applying it to the events. So I would manage the bride, and I'd make sure that they would do what was necessary to accomplish goals. I would, diffuse bridal party arguments. Like I would, help them manage, just like I would manage at Merrill Lynch.
A team of people, yeah.
I would have the mother of the bride and mother of the groom who hated each other, and I'd make sure that they were communicating properly. Like, just whatever I needed to do to help the process of the wedding and make sure that they were able to see them off. No one had any fights at the wedding, no arguments, and things like that.
So you were able to take what you learned in a corporate setting and apply it to your personal business.
Yes.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So, like, we learn a lot of these things. It's like you feel like, okay, I want to get out, but you don't realize a lot of the usefulness that your corporate job can teach you going into your own. Because, I mean, it is an entity. It's a business.
Yeah.
Businesses need processes. They need those kind of things to streamline them along. So tell us about the transition you made. So you're working, you're putting these processes in place, you're taking what you learned at Merrill, you're putting it into your events.
Okay.
So how did it click for you and, you know what? I need to just put all of my effort into this.
Okay. So I'll give you the timestamps so that you guys have the full picture. Okay. So January 2015, JR Events became a business. Okay. 2015. Then I was still doing a lot of fundraiser things, still giving a lot of freebies, whatever, just to get exposure. And then working that job and weddings. And then August 2017, I had an epiphany moment. I actually went to group therapy. And it was very interesting for me because I get to see women. I'm like, dang, I don't got as bad as I thought I did. Dang, this girl over here talking about she got multiple personalities. I don't know. Anyway, it was very,
right.
That's a whole other story. So I went there and I started thinking about it. And one of the women that was in the group therapy who was going through her challenges, she said, I stopped putting overtime into my job and started putting overtime into my passion. Because we always are like, oh, I got to get this money now.
Yeah.
And every time we're working to get this money right now, we're constantly taking away from the focus of what is the true passion, what is the goal, what are you trying to achieve. So I was working like 60, 70. There was one time I think I had on my paycheck at Merrill like maybe 186 hours of overtime. I was killing it. I was always there. Like everybody always relied on me.
Yeah.
Always on my shoulders. So that was the epiphany. And so I stopped working overtime. And I went to my manager, who is still a part of my business, my life, everything. And I said, yeah, you're going to have to find somebody else.
Right.
It ain't gonna be this one.
It's not gonna be me anymore.
40 hours and that's it. Next thing I know, he'll talk about it. He talks about it. He thinks it's funny. But I was coming in late and everything. But they were so heavily like
dependent on you. Yeah.
They didn't write it up or nothing. They were just like, all right, well, we'll just change your time frame to fit what schedule you want to work today. Because they couldn't really avoid getting rid of it. They couldn't get rid of it.
They couldn't.
So every day I would get up and I built a routine. And so in 2017, I said, I don't really have an end goal, but I know that by the end of 2018, I need to be at least have a better, clear picture of when I need to leave. And so, but again, leaving a steady paycheck is not easy.
It's difficult.
So
yeah.
I said, all right, I'm going to build this routine. So my routine was I got up every morning at 5 a.m., sometimes at 4:30 a.m. I would work out because I was having a hard time working out. I was gaining, I was weight. So that was like 4:30, 5 a.m. I would get up in the morning, work out. Then I'd come home. I would spend 2 hours on my business every morning, give my mind the freshest part of my entire day, which is when you first wake up. So I would do that every morning. Then I would go to work. And then I would spend my lunch break, an hour lunch break in the break room, doing another hour of work on the business, whether it was social media marketing, scheduling, whether it was like emailing clients, whatever it was. And then I would get off work and I would have conference calls scheduled with clients and I would spend another 2 hours at work. And so my poor husband, I just say that. My poor husband. So I would have to take out time, of course, for him, and I just continuously built a routine. And I just chipped out like it was an ice sculpture. I was like, I'm going to make this I'm going to turn this ice sculpture into the most beautiful masterpiece I ever saw in my entire life. And I just chipped at it every day for the set designated hours every single day. And 2018, All About You Staffing was birth.
Awesome.
It was birth. I call it birth. Because I got the first request and I realized there was a need for staffing, and JR Events started it, and then I separated it from that and I built JR Event, All About You Staffing.
So really quick, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
So Jade does events, and from the event planning and throwing the events, she realized there was a need for staffing these events, right? Mm-hmm. So talk about that, because I think this is what's really special about your story too, is you're doing events, and it's one thing to me to have event planning, right? Mm-hmm. And to build this network, and once she's a plug, so she has this network. She's building this, she's working in it. Then out of that realized, okay, there's something else that's missing from these events. There's a missing piece that these caterers need, and so that's where All About You Staffing comes in. So tell them about that.
So it was, I think it was, January, 2018. So it was like literally 3 years after I started JR Events. I got a request from a client that I need servers. And I wasn't the wedding coordinator for it, but she had a wedding coordinator, which was really a decorator because everything was not on time. But we're not going to talk about it. The timeline was not on time. So me and the girls, I had 3 of my friends, we got dressed in my JR Event shirts. We put our hair back, we had our gloves, and we went and we served. And we served them from the buffet, we busted tables, and again, I was a waitress prior to corporate life. And I didn't care. I was like, all right, cool, we'll just serve. And next thing I know, that one request turned into 2 requests. People said, I saw the pictures. You guys look so cute. And behind the buffet, and I was like, oh, okay. We look cute. right. Food. Okay, whatever. So then we got that request. And then next thing I know, there was so many that started coming. Mm-hmm. So by that one request in January of 2018, by the time August hit, we were hitting 2 and 3 events a weekend. And I was like, whoa. Light bulb. There's a need. There's a niche. So a lot of times we want to have a business and we want to be able to create a passion based on what exactly like our passion is, but that may not be providing a solution to a customer. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to do was create a solution. What can I solve? What problem can I solve? So again, I'm not wanting to be a waitress again. Right. So I was like, okay.
I don't want to do it, but
I'm going to have to lead by example. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to build this team. So we started off with 10 people. And the next thing you know, by the end of 2018, we worked 68 events by the end of 2018. And we had 32 employees by the end of that year. And it's, we established All About You Staffing in September because I wanted to separate it. Wedding planning, not decorating. Versus staffing.
The staffing.
And so with the staffing, it just has been amazing. Mm-hmm. Like we have built a real true niche because there's staffing agencies and then there's staffing private staff companies, which we are a private staff company, which is a different model. Yes. And what people don't understand is that we're not placing them for employment. This is a part-time gig. Like, hey, you want to Uber? And you want to just make a little money? Guess what?
You can do this.
You can just, wait a couple tables, bartend a few weddings, and make some extra money. So we don't actually, everybody's by referral, so anybody who want to work, just, you got to go to my HR. They want to do a phone interview. Yes. Just going to say that right now. But we didn't do any, employment recruiting. We just did, our friends were excellent, and then the friends referred friends. So we're actually up to 65 employees now.
That's awesome. And you train them?
We train them in a classroom setting. They're all wearing uniform. They have a very strict HR guideline. I come from the corporate background.
Yes,
so,
awesome.
They even get direct deposit, okay? Trust and believe. Most part-time jobs ain't giving no direct deposit, okay? So, but the most important thing is that we take care of them. Mm-hmm. And so, the staffing, when that happened in January, where we hit that, we had a luncheon, and someone said to me, they posted a picture of our team, and they said, my AAYS, that's our abbreviation, AAYS family. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, it made me feel so good. I was like, oh, I just
This
want
is a family.
I just want to hug that Instagram post because I had created a culture where they felt like it was family.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just makes me
That's beautiful though.
It just makes me like, so
you birthed it, and now
man,
listen.
I'm telling you, and I could not have done it without my team, my partners. I couldn't have done it without everyone.
Yes.
Like I told the staff all the time. I took them to Dave and Buster's. The Dave and Buster's is expensive.
Okay.
Look, I took them to Dave and Buster's for the when the off peak wedding season when it's like not slow.
Like a team builder type thing.
Dave and Buster's are expensive. And if any of y'all who didn't show up and y'all RSVP, don't do that again.
Don't do it the next time.
Look, because we got to pay up front. But anyway, okay. I'm just saying, entrepreneur budget. Thank you. But yeah, so it's I don't know. As I said, I'm excited.
I think it's awesome. Like it's you saw a need, so you go out there thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this because, like you said, it's my passion. This is what I want to do. And then when you realize that there's more to it than just what you started off with.
Yeah.
It's like it's calling. It's like, you know what? And nobody else is tapping into this, So it's like, well, let me take advantage of that and create something. And within that, you've created more jobs for people. It's like she said, it's part-time. So if you're a good employee, and you looking for some extra income, do a quick phone interview. You never know. But it's creating jobs for people. It's creating a solution for the caterers out there because Jade has this awesome network of people and they trust her. So they trust what she's doing, and they're like, okay, well, I know that I can get good wait staff, good bar staff from her. It's a beautiful thing, really. It is.
Well,
how was managing all that and working full time?
That's when I knew I needed to quit.
Yeah.
So talking about now we finally at the quit period comment. Okay, so when February hit.
Of this year. 2019, okay.
Okay, I was getting so many calls that I was forgetting to send invoices.
She was forgetting the money.
I'm not proud of it.
Don't forget that money.
But I had a client was like, yeah, so you're going to send that invoice today, right? I talked to them 2 days ago. I'm like, oh my God, yes. But I was exhausted. And I was literally running to the conference room every so often. Fortunately, we have an answering service. If you guys call the number, they'll schedule you a consultation because I don't just answer the phone. Okay, just so y'all know. But so they would schedule consultation. So I would schedule time in my conference room. I had remote employees from New Jersey, so they didn't know if I was talking to New Jersey employees. What? Hey,
this is called using your corporate resources.
Use your resources.
Using your resources.
Look, I'm just saying. The other day you told me something too about how you utilize your resources.
I utilize my time. I work remotely too, so I have time
that
where I'm
is
like,
the best thing.
You know what? I can take some pictures right now.
Yes.
I can type this up right now. I can do this, and I use my time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. So I was using those resources. And then I got really, really sick, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I was like, I canceled all the meetings, and I think I came out of a meeting. We were leaving Orlando. We were actually going to think about some expansion opportunities, and I was like, I can't right now. We're not in a position to do that because I hadn't fully invested into it. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm over here making $100,000. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you guys like that. I'm not saying that it's not possible and it won't be happening in the next year, but with the potential growth that I forecasted, because again, I'm a strategic planner. But what I'm saying is that there was a sacrifice that needed to happen in order for me to stop making myself sick. And so my husband was like, he even said to me, and oh God, I was like, it was our anniversary. Now mind you, I've been doing all this and we only been married 2 years. Again.
Bless him.
Bless his heart. If you watching, babe, I love you. Thank you. Bless you. So I'm doing all this and he's like, yo, I don't see you. You're on the computer all day and all night. You don't spend any time with me. Get it together. So, he's like, just pick. I'm gonna support you, but just pick. But again, I got that independent woman syndrome. I don't want nobody for nothing. I don't need you. even though we're married, but there's that was that struggle where it was like the consistency, the stability, and everything. Again, and no offense to anybody, family, if you do decide to watch this, none of my family supported it. They may act like it now that they see things are going well, but at the end of the day, they didn't support it. They didn't support it. They said, no, you need to keep that good job. You need to keep that good thing. You don't need to do this. You're doing too much. Sit down and enjoy your husband and just work. Just want what you have. Don't get nothing extra. Just have this. And I was like, I want this. I can do this. But no, you don't need all that. And constantly doing that. So I actually had to take a break from a lot of family members. And I didn't pick up the phone or talk for a while because I had to, again, assess the sacrifice that I was about to make. So the sacrifice did not just include like a paycheck. It included, I'm not able to go get my hair done when I want to go get it done regularly. Hence, I started investing in my natural life. I was weave all day, every day. I used to be Slade, okay? I'm just saying. So, I mean, that corporate life had me looking good. I ain't get no promotions, but I was looking good. So, I'm just saying. So, no, my nails stopped getting done. I stopped doing my nails. We had downsized in a apartment 2 years prior. So, we had already started making sacrifices up to that point. So, like, when and if it happened, because he was like, I'm like, yo, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, well, we can't live at the beach anymore. Like, we living at the beach. Like, right. we can go move somewhere else, So we moved to Arlington. We started, like, downsizing. We started making adjustments in our life because
you knew the shift was coming.
I knew the shift was
coming. So I was like, let me go ahead and properly plan for this change.
And it wasn't easy to have this shift because I didn't want to give up these things. And one of the biggest things, I love house parties. Again, I like events. I like house parties. So if I move into a smaller apartment, I can't do that. I can't have house parties. So then one day I saw this post on Gary Vee is an entrepreneur that I follow. If you don't follow him, he's dope. I love him. Amazing. So he posted about people not wanting to downsize their home because of what other people think. And that, do you really need that house or do you just need everyone else's approval? And I was like, oh, you're speaking to me? Right? What the hell? Like, you're speaking to me right now, Gary? Mm-hmm. So that was in December that I heard it. And I was like, I was hating that we lived in such a small apartment already. We had already moved in, but we had taken a step further, and we have a friend that lives with us. We even took a roommate, so that we could, again, we're making sacrifice. People are like, oh, I don't want to know this. I'm like, look, I just know that if something happens in this passion, because anything can happen, we're gonna take as many precautions as we can. So, we even have a roommate, someone who we trust, someone who is really good, and he's a great roommate too. So then. I did it. I thought about it. I definitely prayed about it. I was like, is this the right thing to do? And Chris was like, I got you. Whatever you want to do. So I went ahead. I gave them 5 weeks notice. I don't leave any company, just like that because I don't want to burn a bridge. I even made them write me letters of recommendation just in case I need to come back. I was like, so I went to my director like, here, can you sign this? And he don't have really good vision. So I was like, here, can you sign this? He was like, what is that? I sent my letter of recommendation. You want me to read it to you? He was like, nah, here you go. But he knew, like,
he knew that this was coming too, kind of.
Yeah, because they could see it too. So he went ahead, he signed off on it, and then I quit April 12th, 2019. Awesome. So my end date, my establishment date of full-time entrepreneur. And so it's been 4 months. And one of the biggest things I've been talking to you about is a lot of people don't talk about the failures and the things that the fall on the face. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if everything is amazing.
It's great. It's awesome. I'm making all this money. And
Trust me, I have hard conversations on a regular, but I did have some money in savings. So what I did was I took the money I had saved up and I paid up all my bills through December. I said, all right, whatever money comes in from weddings and whatever, and I sometimes work the staff jobs, I will take that money and I'll just pay up for the next couple of months. And I just pay my bills up. I pay my bills up so that Chris does not feel the impact of my car payment, my cell phone bill, my gym bill, whatever it is. I told him, I said, if I got an Uber, I'm gonna Uber and you will not feel this cell phone bill. I don't care. I'm gonna make sure you have some groceries, money, or whatever. So, and I haven't had to Uber though, thank God.
And she's not going to.
I'm like,
fine.
The blessing. But I was willing to make the sacrifice. I was willing to, and I think like one guy saw one of these guys that saw me, and I was serving tables, right? And this is this dude that I used to like do club promotion with back in the day, event related charity stuff. Yeah. And he was just like, it was like he was like looking at me like
kind of looking down
at me. I'm like, bro, you don't know what my status is. You better get something right. Like you looking down at me serving. I don't have a problem serving people
at all
because I'm building something amazing. And
absolutely.
And the thing is, I used to be worried about what people thought about me, but as long as I'm pursuing what I truly want,
it doesn't matter.
I gotta be my own cheerleader.
That's amazing.
I gotta care about what I think. 100% of the time.
And I think a lot of the misconception when you leave, you know, is that you're the CEO and you're the boss and you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. But you're putting in more work than you were when it was you working your corporate job. Like, I think about that. I have a date on my computer for 2020. Okay. And I think about how much I'm going to have to put in myself once that date actually hits and once I actually go that route. It's going to be way more than I'm doing now because now I do have the comfort of a paycheck every 2 weeks. And, you know, I moved and all that stuff. So, you know, my situation, I'm going to tell that story a little later, but like, I have all those comforts now. I'm not going to have that next year. And it's like you have to go harder. You have to sacrifice. And you have to kind of get down in the trenches and do that extra work that people think you get exempt from once you become your own business. And it's just the opposite. It's so much more work. You're not exempt from it at all. No.
Never. Because if the server doesn't go, I got to go.
Yeah.
So I got to do it. I'm going to serve those guests. But, you know, it's our baby, so, you know, we do what we got to do.
That's awesome. I love this story, and it's inspiring, like, when you spoke earlier about your routine. So, those of you who follow me on my Curls, Curves, and Combo Instagram, you see me wake up early in the morning and exercise, and then after I exercise, I work on Curls, Curves, and Combo. I got that from Jade. Absolutely. She put that idea into my head years ago when she was going into this venture, and she had changed her mindset. She's like, you know what? Instead of doing overtime, I'm waking up early. And at the time, it didn't register for me, and I didn't utilize that. But when the time was right, that conversation, I saw you. I was standing outside her car window like this, and we were talking, and I was like, I'm gonna do what Jade said, and I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna exercise, and I'm gonna work on me before work starts. And it has changed a lot of what I do, and for that, like I was like, I thank you so much for planting that seed in me because it changed a lot. I wouldn't have gone live had I not changed my mindset. I've been sitting on going live for months. Months.
And this is such a value add.
And thank you. And that's what I want it to be. And I want you guys to hear stories like Jade's and Denisha's and Corey and Janelle's. Like, hear these stories because people are out here doing some amazing things, and there's so much value in sharing our networks and sharing our stories. You don't know where you're going to get the inspiration from. Like, had we not had that conversation, I don't know if we would be having this conversation here right now or if this part would have existed yet because I was scared to put that in. And then in my mind, I'm like, well, when am I going to find the time? And it's like, okay, I have the time. I can wake up. I can do this, you know? So it takes a lot of sacrifice and it takes a lot of guts and time and, you know, and it's a bit of balance. It hasn't been, you know, you talked earlier about you have a husband and you had to find a balance between being a wife and being a family member and a friend. And it's a lot of sacrifice in this life and when you find what you want to do. But I do feel like once you walk in your purpose, people aren't going to understand. But once you are fully in there, they'll start to see. And they still won't understand, but at least now they'll see. And they're like, okay, I didn't know what she was doing. Yeah. But I know she knows now what she was doing, and it all makes sense.
Yeah. Trust me, there was a lot of people A lot of family members, my husband's side of his family, before we got married, they're like, oh, she too busy. Chris, you don't want nobody like that. Look, she gonna be at home cooking dinner for you every night. You don't want her.
Oh, God.
We ain't gonna talk about those family members. Well, anyway,
Right.
I hope you see this. Anyway. Yes, I'm hating on you. But anyway, go ahead. Shade thrown. But, yeah, no, like, they didn't see it, but, man, he is, like, wow. He is definitely a value add.
That's awesome.
He is amazing.
Speaks to the people you have around you, especially in these processes. Like,
Yep.
if he wasn't there, do you think... Like, you don't know. I mean, we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what could have happened? But it's awesome that you had a partner that saw something in you a long time ago. We know, right? And was like, you know, I'm going to keep feeding in and pouring into you and making sure you get to where you're at. Like, this, you're going to go so far. Like, you are going to be...
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what next year looks like, but... yeah, I'm telling you right now, when I told my event, because I stopped taking weddings because I was so busy with All About You staffing. And when I told people, I'm like, I'm back on the market, I had 8 weddings booked within a month of me being back on the market to being a wedding planner, not a decorator. Planner, coordinator, decorator, no decorator. And after that, I actually got a deal with another venue that provided a all-inclusive wedding package. So y'all holler at me if y'all ain't picked y'all venue. But she actually just sends me a date and she's like, hey, you busy this day? I'm like, nope. She's like, all right, put it on your calendar. And then she sends me an email, here's all your bride's information. Then she sends me a check in the mail. So I was like, yes. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate you. And then she sends it to me like as their wedding gets closer. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. So, and she has me on dates all the way to October of 2020.
That's amazing.
So like, I'm just like, I don't know what tomorrow holds. Right. I don't know. Like I was telling her when we were talking last week, I said, one day I'm at zero in the bank. I ain't got no money. The business accounts, you have to keep the money in the accounts, you entrepreneurs. But keep the business money in there. But one day I have like no spending money. I can't go to happy hour. Can't go to the lemon bar. I like to go to the lemon bar on Sundays. Anybody want to treat me? I'm on an entrepreneur budget. But I'll give you some business advice for free if you treat me at lemon bar.
Good advice. Listen, somebody take her out. I'm going to take you up on that.
Thank you. So, one day I'm like sitting there and I had an anxiety attacks over the last couple of months. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And my husband's like, babe, you're fine. Like, your bills are paid. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Your bills are paid. Like, he just looks at me like, you act like I don't help you, like, if you don't eat it. But I'm like, but I don't want to. He's like, Jade, what do you need help with? I'm like, nothing. And so, like, he come on, he's like, you didn't cook or anything. You sat on the computer all day. You didn't eat nothing. And he goes, here's some sushi. I know you like sushi. I'm like, thank you. And then I like, hold my ass and eat and like, well, I'm like, you don't know me. Yes, you do.
Yes,
but so then, like, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I have this, things coming up. And then all of a sudden I see a bride who's not scheduled till November pay her bill off in full. Like, oh, okay, my account's back money and I don't have bills due right now. Okay, good. I'm spending money now. Right. So it's like,
it comes in waves.
It is a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. There's no steady line to this life.
No. There's no like, oh, I'm saving $30 every 2 weeks. No. I'd be glad if I just can save money out of every month of client payments or every other week. Or it's like, oh, do I get paid in 2 weeks or do I get paid in a month? I don't really know. But as long as I got a budget and I saved my money and I'm very like strategic on how I, pay my bills. So I'll give some updates on that to you, Erica, as time goes by. Yes. Oh Lord.
So what would be a piece of advice that you could give anybody who is looking to transition to full-time entrepreneurship? Like, what would be like maybe your biggest lesson or a big takeaway that somebody could, start with? Like, okay, I can take this message and start here.
The best advice I received when I started, and I'm gonna give her a shout out, Patricia Orange. She's a realtor. She's amazing. Anyway, she told me when I started, she goes, Jade, it's going to be hard. She's always lecturing me. Oh my God. So she's like, it's going to be hard and you'll be fine. You can work through this, but you need several streams of income. And I was like, several? Damn. I mean, I got a couple right now. Like, what does several mean? You know? And so, but now I see what several means because again, we now have venue management service. We now have wedding coordinating service. I work exclusively for certain venues. I work as a staff, manager for all about you staffing, and sometimes I go on the shifts. Sometimes I am now opening up to business mentoring this year as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is, there you go, several streams of income. So don't rely on your passion to be the driving source, because if it had just been for JR events, I would not have left my corporate job. All About You staffing was not necessarily my passion,
right?
But it is event related, so it's associated with my passion. But it was the moneymaker to help me make that decision. So
I think that's awesome advice.
Yeah,
that is basically use your passion, and your passion is going to open you up to other things. Let that welcome those other things in, especially if it's something that's making you money. And use that to drive your passion forward even more. So, well, thank you so much. Tell everybody really quick how they can reach you. And we'll put it in below too.
Yes.
Tell us your name, your pages, because there's a lot.
You're funny. Okay, so we got at Jade Quest, Jade's Quest. So that's my entrepreneur blogging thing. I started a blog. I blog maybe once a month, but I am sharing my entrepreneur journey. So just to give you a side note, the last 2 blogs was about seasonal business relationships and what business relationships I had to end. And there was one, take me as I am or not at all. So I'm talking about this from a business standpoint, how I had to set boundaries and things. So my entrepreneur blog is going to be very raw and very honest.
She drops a lot of gems on your story. Your stories be lit. Your stories.
I be saying some things.
All
sometimes.
The gems on the stories. I'm like, yes, Jade. Let me go back and listen to that one.
Sometimes I just be feeling like I'm just going to say this today and hopefully somebody pick it up because I'm feeling real feisty today. And then at j.r.events. So it's 2 dots in between the J and R. So that's my wedding planning page. And then we have at All About You Staffing, that's the bartender, wait staff, services. You'll see a lot of pictures on there of our staff and our service excellence. So those are my 3 main things I have going on.
And then everything else, I'll be sure to share. That's for sure.
You
can always ask me. I'll get you to her. Trust me. So
yes, indeed.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you guys so much for staying around and watching. We will see you next week. Good night.